Hello everyone, especially tacticians. Let's have a look at how the first iteration of survival was and what Titus is like. I know this is coming a little late, but Kaorin had a busy week in real life and is down with a cold to top it off, which is why I'll be doing all the talking today. We both know some of you don't like me voicing the videos, but Kaorin really wants to be in bed rather than edit out all the wheezing, coughing, and sneezing, and sounds like a raspberry. So deal with it. Okay, so survival, I believe Kaorin already said it's onslaught on steroids with power-ups mixed in. It introduced an interesting conundrum. Do you want to finish off a wave now to spawn in the power-ups and risk them being picked up by Tyranids? Or do you want to take the next wave while your heroes are not at the next tier but the Tyranids are? What Kaorin didn't like was the randomness in where the power-ups spawn when they do. At least he didn't notice a pattern. And then the randomness of which heroes you can drop in as reinforcement. But you get to choose out of 3 rather than out of only 2 as in regular Onslaught. Other than that, the mode itself is kind of nice. 1 ticket a day is pleasant for it being a kind of long mode. The shield on deployment power-ups being stackable between runs is smart, making them actually valuable to pick up in the long run. The Legendary Waves difficulty would probably feel fairer to players with fullish Diamond 3 rosters. It is obvious this one was not tuned to be completely clearable, and that in itself is fine. Kaorin is looking forward to future survivals, assuming they will be the new event for anniversaries and major holidays, Christmas, and not a monthly thing, and wonders whether the next ones will be themed for different grand factions or not. The rewards reachability between free-to-play chads and pay-to-win plebs is par for the course for Snowprint and mobile games in general. And that pretty much covers the survival. Now on to Titus. He's a perfect Ultramarine, which means he feels wonderfully below average in 2024. He seems to deal decent damage, able to one-shot the Tyranid warriors on their shield turns. But it's hard to tell how much of it was because of the stacking buffs from completing missions, and how much was Titus himself. His active is definitely inspired by his Space Marine 2 performance. The charging version is apparently the bolter shot after heavy attack combo, and feels bad, as it couldn't one-shot a shielded warrior with Pugnar buff, but it may have been next to the Clobster, to be fair. It might be useful in Tournament Arena against Gravis wearers. The stuck-in version is apparently the heavy attack and feels much more useful. Keep in mind you can trigger this one by targeting and running around a unit that Titus started adjacent to. Combined with the Pugnar Scream, it may be dangerous in Tournament Arena, but it's less convenient to use than Calgar or Karn in the same context. The passive is weaker than it looks at the first glance. It was difficult to trigger even against the instinctive behavior Tyranids, partly because of the stacking buffs. Titus just wouldn't go down in the first place, and it's relatively easily bypassable by simply killing Titus at a distance. He's not resilient and needs a killable enemy in melee range to bounce back, at very low health. He'll also need a damage buffer, Calgar, to kill non-trash stuff with the final vengeance reliably. However, he should mesh very nicely with Incisus, because his first death will never be an overkill, so Incisus always has a chance to bring him back from it even without the final vengeance, and that should refresh Titus's active too. After playing it for a bit, as you may have seen in his recent Plays Poorly video, Kaorin thinks that in order to be more similar to his Space Marine 2 self, Titus should have a ranged attack, 1 to 2 bolter hits. He is supposed to be melee focused, and needs to work a bit like Toth, healing a portion of the damage he's taken last turn on a melee attack and maybe getting a shield, equivalent of the armor in Space Marine on a melee kill, finishing blow. Sure, this would break the Pugnar synergy, but that's fine. We have plenty of heroes making the craptastic mode crap as it is, although there's rumors going around that Snowprint are planning some changes to that, so fingers, claws, and tentacles crossed. And it would make him more viable in the wave events for which he apparently is intended, by also making him less vulnerable to free-ranged kills. Sadly, being the Chad he is, Kaorin won't unlock Titus unless Tzeentch smiles on one of the requisition pods, or until Titus is available in a shop. Such is life, and that's all for this video. There probably won't be a TA series for this season because Kao already feels shit enough as is, There may be a Vitruvius Legendary Release Event update, but there weren't many fitting heroes released, so the previous one is still up to date-ish. Toodles Tactician. If you enjoyed this video, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, and watch the video again.